Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Eddie Marcus here again. Look, it is very important that we get a taste of the truth. What I have been trying to share with you, the people, the public, whoever will listen to any post that I make, is that there's a God. And the reason I want you to know that there's a God is because I want you to know that there's a difference in living your life according to the dictates of God as opposed to the dictates of the replacement God. You see, God is invisible. The power that is created, everything that our sense is able to identify comes from a power that's invisible. Now, we don't know what that God is. We've heard expressions of God being some of everything. We just know that it is powerful. But not only that, we understand its consistency of how it operates. At least it's there for those who are perhaps looking for an understanding. On the other hand, there is this, what we call ungodly way of life. And what it does, my friends, is the opposite of what I just got through describing. Now, we have been given all kind of information about history. We can assume that some of it is true. Most of it isn't. But we have to be able to discern what is truth based upon what we understand truth as being today, because truth is truth all the time. And it will guide us down a path that would lead us to a place of either of these opposites that I just mentioned will take us. So when we are talking about the earth, I was thinking about it and I thought about the seven continents. And I said these seven continents represents seven portions of the earth. It's like a house representing different sections of the house: the living room, the living quarters, the other quarters, and the other quarters, and other quarters. But it's all one house. And what really goes on in one room of the house affects the whole house. The world, all of these continents and all of these systems of government, every last one of them exists. Every last one of them exists at odds with the government of the invisible God. See, the government of the invisible God is smart. It makes sure that all of the resources that are essential for people to do whatever they want to do from time start to time's end are available on the earth, in the earth, above the earth. Some seen, some is unseen. But that man would have the capability of discerning, of being able to utilize from wherever it comes from, seen or unseen. That each one that comes on this earth benefits from the time they're here, nothing but breathing. And then so on and so forth, to the last breath, they're benefiting for something that's on this earth. Every human being. And so it stands to reason that that magnificent power was designed in such a way that each of us, when we come here on this earth, will bring something. We have something to offer, something to give to not just this earth, but to society at large. We would be able to participate, to contribute in the process of creating all of this wonderful stuff that we say comes from God, and it really does, because we are doing what we love doing. We are enjoying it. It is our joy, And in the process, we are making sure that no human being on the face of the earth, this is God's plan, no human being on the face of the earth suffer for anything that is made that exists by the hands of man for the benefit of the love of God through us to one another. My friends, now that's what the people, the governments of the world, all of them have said no to that. No. No. It is no. So you got systems, people that come up who are bold enough to say, I'm the power. The bullies, that's what they are. Really, some bullies with fighting, some bullies in thinking they're smart. Also, there's just bullies. Some people call them narcissists. I don't know. But they're just claiming power and ready to kick anybody's butt that challenges them. You remember the old chip on the shoulder, knock there, you knock the chip off. And so on and so forth. All over the world, all of the systems of government are saying that, no, it's not supposed to be like that. And all of the systems of the world work for the benefit of those who started the systems of government. There are those who profit, there are those who profit a little less, or a little less, as need. You know, they say you get information based upon your need to know. You get paid based upon your need of. So, here you go. And this usually leads your kings, you know how the kings live, your queens, you know how the queens live. You know how all the people in authority, how they live. And you know all the way on down that thing to the bottom right where you got that people that are starving. All of that to deny God. So in America, which is representative of the world, you got politicians, you got the Republicans. Do the Republicans have a plan, a program, ideal that blesses every American? Of course not. Well, let's check over there on the Democratic side. Do the Democrats have an answer to the same situation? And the answer is, of course not. Now, people will say that Democrats might be a little bit more open to include. That's what they might say, but at the bottom, you're going to find that the same thing is always going to exist. Because this is the way the systems of the world operate. They operate against you, the people. And so you, the people, don't know. Because they have already ordained that we, as other people, are just stupid. They are the ones who can change truth to and use alternative truths. They are the ones that can do all of these kinds of things because what? They will kill you and have no problem doing it. And you don't know the truth. There's no way they would tell you the truth because the truth will set you free from their lies. And they have to be honest and tell you the truth. They don't know the truth either. They just caught up in the whirlwind. But we the people, we're always the victims. None of these set up systems that within these systems that's designed to protect the people, none of them are doing it. Not even the church. The church is supposed to be representative of the power that we can't see, the invisible power. And the church just embraces what goes along, fits right in, no differences. And yet here we are going through all of these changes, and they're not going to go away, ladies and gentlemen. They're not going to go away. We're going to have to take our eyes off of government, whether it's Republican or Democrat or whatever you might have in the United States, and I'm sure all across the globe, and put our mind on that invisible power, that power that is able to make everything right. To make everything right means that you, my friend, you as an individual, and as I refer to you as individuals, I'm referring to you collectively. Every last one of you are engaged in a process. You're not right now, but you're supposed to be, and you're not because you're being robbed by robbers, thieves, anti-gods. And It would enable you to participate in all the things: health, education, uh, transportation, housing, everything. Oh man, frees you to live, to be a part of life. But you are being denied that by men, by systems of government that says no way. And yet, every last one of them want, and most of them, I'm sure, have the ability to do all of those things that God has provided for every last one of you to do. They can, but you can't. And that's because you bought their lies instead of the truth, which will set you free. I just wanted to say this to you this morning because they had little documentaries on the tube, and they were talking about how Trump was raised. They were talking about how these big shots were raised, how these billionaires were raised, and so on and so forth. And it just tells you it was raised by crooks. The crooks have been running the world. And these, my friends, are branches of the crooks. And we see them, but we don't see them truly for what they are. We think they're the big shots of the world. We think that they are the ones who have made us, kept us standing. It will remind me, and I'm going to close. It reminds me of years ago. I used to see the cowboy pictures back in the day. You know, when I was young, they had a lot of cowboy pictures on TV, and they used to have a lot of westerns. You have actors like Ronald Reagan and others, one who ended up being president, and they would be out there in the Union uniform, and they would be fighting. Who would they be fighting? They would be fighting the natives of this country, the natives of this land. They would be killing them. They would be slaughtering them because they wanted to control and manipulate them and tell them what to do and yes sir, obey. And they wouldn't, so they were slaughtering, acting like savages, then calling other savages because they wouldn't bend. That's what they were doing. And so that's what we were exposed to. We were exposed to that kind of stuff. And I used to observe that on television. And I used to be saying, yeah, I was supportive all the way. Why? Because my stupid tail, like the rest of us Americans, were being brainwashed to believe that these guys and this system was set up in such a way that it was benefiting us. And the truth of the matter, it was benefiting Americans. The problem of it with me is that I was sitting there rooting for them, thinking that this is what they were doing for us. And they had kept it hidden that I'm the product of slaves. All that was hidden. I ain't know anything about that. So I'm out there rooting for the same people, for people who were brutalizing and murdering other people who were doing the same thing to me. Ignorant. That's what's happening in the world. We're just ignorant. They got us thinking all kinds of stuff. But there's one thing that you can be sure of. The only thing that is working is that which works for everyone. No system can bullshit this. When everybody's walking around, black, white, men, women, straight, unstraight, whatever, Americans and others, and everybody's walking around thinking, thank God Almighty, we're free at last. Then you can say you're in the right path. And anything other than that, your job is incomplete. You might think you're on top of the world, but if everybody under you is suffering, then you got a commitment. You got an obligation. You got a duty. You got a responsibility. And if you can't see that, we understand it's only because you're blind as well. You thought you were free. You believe that you're free, but you're bound just the same. And all the stuff that's happening around you is the evidence of it. Is it perfect? Can you look at out there and say, everybody is saying, thank God Almighty? Well, if it's not, then you're still in hell and you got work to be doing. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so very much for giving me this, your time. Once again, this is Eddie Marcus saying goodbye for now.